Hello, my lovelies. It is officially the 14th vlog of Vlogtober. And today's vlog, we are going to talk about fears. Perhaps we should have done this one yesterday for the 13th, since, there are a lot of people that have the fear of the number 13. But I didn't think about it until today. So that's what we're going to do. It is the month of October, traditionally a scary time of year, spooky. So I figured we would do fears. Some people are afraid of monsters. Some people are afraid of clowns. I actually understand the clown fear. I really do. My friend Cassie in high school was deathly afraid of clowns. And when I asked her why, because, up until then, I'm like, they're clowns. They make balloon animals. They, try to be funny. She said her problem with clowns were they wear giant shoes and their feet aren't that big. And they paint smiles on their faces, but they're not really smiling. And when she put it that way, I understand why she found them so creepy. I am not afraid of clowns, of course, but yeah, I at least understand it. I understand a lot of people's fears because, there are all sorts of things that you can be afraid of. Some of them make sense. Maybe it was a traumatic event. I don't know, maybe it just makes your skin crawl for whatever reason. And then other ones don't make any sense at all, but they're there, and sometimes you feel really stupid for having them. I actually have quite a few fears of creatures, various creatures. And I will tell you a very, very funny story about one of those creatures. But I am curious, my lovelies out there, do you guys have any fears? Something that you're just deathly afraid of? And it can be anything. Maybe you're afraid of the number 13. Maybe you have a fear of clowns. A lot of people have arachnophobia, fear of spiders. There are quite a few people that are afraid of spiders. I'm not. Spiders don't scare me because I can squish it if I need to. So they don't scare me. But there are a few other things that do. For instance, I am afraid of earthworms because they're slimy and I don't want them to touch me. My little brothers used to pick them up and chase me around the yard with me screaming my full head off because I didn't want them to touch my skin. It is the reason why it's sometimes difficult for me to put out my flower bed because I dig in the ground and there are worms and they freak me out. Granted, I don't run screaming from the worms, but I just make sure I always wear gloves and don't touch them. However, in my flower bed, if a frog or a toad jumps out at me, I do run screaming for my husband to come and take it away because I don't like frogs and toads. I can look at them, on TV or the internet or in a little aquarium and say, oh, it's a cute little frog, but it can't touch me. It can't touch me and bounce at me because I don't like that. I can't touch turtles either for the same reason. They're very cute, but I don't want to touch it. It creeps me out. And frogs and turtles are pretty harmless things. Granted, I know there are a few poison frogs, but I think they're only really poison if you lick them or, extract some sort of venom and then, do the little darts like some of the tribes in the Amazon do. But, by and large, frogs are pretty harmless. Don't like them. I don't really like snakes very much. I have held a snake before, big boa constrictors and things like that. I am not deathly afraid of snakes, but they're not my favorite things because they don't have legs and that's weird. I did have an iguana when I was in college and I really rather liked him because he had little feet and toes, so he didn't bother me. Even though he felt like a snake, he was cool to the touch and had that, I don't know, if you've never felt a lizard or a snake, it's kind of hard to describe what they feel like, but they're not slimy in any way. They're, I guess, kind of like a car tire, kind of like a rubber, maybe. But, yeah, lizards I'm okay with. Snakes not as okay with, but I'm not absolutely terrified of snakes. My biggest fear, I also won't touch fish. Like if I go fishing, somebody has to put the bait on the hook unless it's, you know, dough ball or cheese. And then I catch the fish and then they have to take the fish off the hook because I can't touch the fish either because it's gross and slimy and I don't want to touch it. I'm really a girl. However, I think those things make some sort of sense, being afraid of those sorts of things. I am not afraid of any insects, BT doves. Bugs don't scare me. Even like wasps and hornets and things, I'm not afraid of them. I don't want to get stung, but I don't panic if they're around me. I usually just, you know, try and move them along. The one thing that I am absolutely terrified of are birds. It is a real phobia. It's like ornithophobia, I think. I am not afraid of flightless birds. For instance, emu, ostrich, penguins, chickens, things that don't fly, I don't have a problem with. It's the flapping of wings that terrifies me. And you're all gonna laugh and say, oh, I'll bet you hate Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds. No, that's a movie. That's not real. That doesn't bother me. Birds in real life? I have a bird feeder. I do feed the birds. I like to watch them out of my window because I think birds are very pretty. But if you're one of those people that keeps a bird in the house and you open the cage and you let it fly around, I won't come to your house. I can't. I'm too afraid. I will crawl under the kitchen table and scream because I'm really legitimately terrified. So here's a funny story for you. Back before the old man and I were married, we went to Washington, D.C. to go to the Smithsonian. We were on our way to the Natural History Museum, and if any of you have ever been to the mall at DC or live in a big city where there are open spaces, you know that there are a lot of pigeons. I don't have a problem with pigeons as long as they're not flying around me. You know, if they're perched or sitting or cooing or whatever they're doing, as long as they're not flying around me, pigeons are fine. So we were on our way to the Natural History Museum, and there was a gigantic flock of pigeons between us and the entrance to the museum. And I was holding my husband's hands. Granted, he was my boyfriend at the time and not my husband, but I stopped and he kept going and, you know, yanked on me and I was not moving. And he goes, "What? What's wrong?" I was like, "There are birds. I can't go that way. We have to go around." Now, he was aware that I was afraid of birds. I had told him that. But he says, "Oh, don't be afraid. They'll leave." And I'm like, "Yeah, exactly. So we can't go that way." Well, he proceeded to not believe in my fear of birds, and he tugged me along. Needless to say, they took off en masse, and there was a lot of flapping wings at one time, which resulted in me, in my dress, in my sandals, in a ball, on the ground, screaming at the top of my lungs and crying because I am really terrified of flapping wing sounds. And the whole time he's going, "No, stop it, what are you doing? Stop it." And of course, people look at us and they have no idea what's going on. However, he has never tried to drag me through another flock of pigeons again because he realizes how scared I am. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I know it's stupid. The birds aren't trying to hurt me. I know it's dumb. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't make me any less afraid. I even have problems. We live in Virginia and we live more inland, but we still get seagulls occasionally that come up the James River, and they will be outside in the parking lot sometime when I go to the grocery store, and they'll be near my car and I have to wait or have one of the bag boys go and chase it away from my car because I can't get in my car because there is a seagull sitting there looking at me and I just know it's going to flap its wings and fly. Yeah. It's really a really dumb phobia. But now you all know that I have it. My friend Robin keeps sending me scary bird pictures because she finds it hilarious. Thanks, Robin. And even though it does make me laugh because, you know, I know it's a silly phobia, I can handle the pictures. If it was a real bird flapping its wings, I could not handle that because then it's just an utter terror. It's my mind shuts off and it's a flight or fight response, and I guess my response is curl up in a ball and pray that the bird doesn't get me. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, alrighty, well there, now you all know my darkest fear. I'm not afraid of death. I am not afraid of spiders, but I am deathly afraid of birds. Alrighty, let me know if you have any weird or unusual fears. And yeah, we can have a little discussion and laugh with and at one another, because we all know if we're afraid of something sort of silly like that, that it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it doesn't make us any less afraid. Alrighty, my lovelies. Until next time, everybody have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.